Hello, everyone. Welcome to another HS Today interview. Today, we're very excited to welcome the U.S. Cyber Command. They have recently done a report, Cyber Trends and Insights in the Maritime Environment, that is an essential benchmark for understanding the evolving cyber landscape affecting maritime transportation systems. So we're very excited to be sitting down with Coast Guard Cyber Command's Chief of Operations, Captain Boris Montatsky. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Chief, it's so good to see you, and we're really excited to hear more about cyber in the maritime domain. I think it's one of the areas that people are still kind of catching up on and trying to understand all of the implications. So your report does a lot to provide insight to some of the challenges and some of the vulnerabilities. And so we're glad you had a chance to sit down with us. And we're wanting to start off by just asking, after you do this report, because I think it's in year 4, is that correct?
Yes, this is our 4th annual report. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So how does the Coast Guard prioritize and act upon the observations that you find in this report?
Thanks for that question. So we use this report essentially as our end of the year report card to industry and our Coast Guard leaders on what is the Coast Guard's investment in cybersecurity produce. It's a collection and aggregation of all of our lessons learned from our cyber assessments, from our threat hunts, and our incident responses. We take that report and we also use it to inform both in the engagement space when we talk about cybersecurity to our industry partners. We use that in the international space. We also look to inform our targeting cycle or our engagement strategy and how we want to reach out to industry partners across the maritime domain. So we definitely use that, but at the end of the day, it's more of a report card that we use to help inform our engagement strategy.
What were some of the vulnerabilities that the report uncovered?
Yes, so I would say criminal activity continues to be prevalent. We also highlight the fact that at the end of the day, it's a lot of the human factors that present the most serious concerns. Phishing continues to be an initial attack vector that both criminal and other malicious cyber actors continue to use to hold industries at risk. We talk about our crane assessment. So we are the only federal agency that has assessed more of Chinese manufactured ship-to-shore cranes than any other federal agency. We have more expertise in operational technology, and we could provide some pretty good lessons learned on that. Also, we have seen a proliferation of use of cloud technologies for information technology systems across the industry. And we wanted to really highlight the fact that cloud presents itself as a great opportunity, as a great enabler for operations, but also presents some risk if not well informed by the way you purchase cloud, the way you manage your cloud service provider, and reading those contracts.
Absolutely. And so as you look at those threats and vulnerabilities, what are some of the emerging technologies you're looking at to mitigate or solve them?
Yeah, so we're definitely interested in how AI or large language models are going to be used in the future. We're looking at automation and big data and how that's going to enable, as well as data standards used by the industry. Automation continues to be on the rise. So we're definitely looking out for opportunities in those threats that target more enabling systems or applications that provide that level of automation.
Excellent. And so the message that you want to send, I think it's really important as we're, looking at, cyber trends and insight into maritime. What is the message that you'd want to get across to maritime operators who are still kind of meh on cybersecurity?
So a couple of messages or a couple of bumper stickers I'd like to offer to really anybody in the industry that are still considering underinvesting or underutilizing cyber technology or cybersecurity. You control risk in many different ways, and cyber presents its own unique risks. You manage your organization against physical security risk, against natural disasters or anything like that. Cybersecurity needs to be treated as a similar risk vector to your operations. And so when you're saying when you're thinking about, hey, am I underinvesting in my ability to recover from my worst digital day, you're selling yourself and your organization short. The other piece is, we're part of a global supply chain. There is no domestic marine transportation system. It's a global supply chain. And so you have to look at, as criminal actors or nation state actors are targeting our logistics, our supply chains, and everyone's cyber game is going up, you don't want to be sort of the last in the pack, because then you present yourself as a pretty good target for criminal activity or nation state actors. And so really, as you're thinking about, do I have a good disaster recovery plan? Am I properly logging or auditing my security controls? Do I have a managed service provider that manages my cloud, or do I have my own organic security operations center? What does my end of life strategy look like as operating systems or hardware is end of life, and you're going to have to refresh that? You have to think about that well in advance. The days of the facility security officer not talking to their cybersecurity provider or their security or their CIO, I think are very short. And so I encourage all facility security officers to continue and begin those conversations with your cybersecurity folks, and understand also the interplay between physical security and cybersecurity. At the end of the day, when it comes to gates and cameras and access systems, that is all enabled by technology, and you don't want to be the weakest link.
Amen. What a great point to end on. That's fantastic. We really appreciate your time today, and certainly, just how pointed your tips are at what people should be doing. I think you're kind of speaking to the choir with many in our audience, but really that convergence of physical and IT security has been happening for like 20 years. So it's time to get on that bandwagon. So thank you so much for your time today. We got to sit down with Coast Guard Cyber Command's Chief of Operations, Captain Boris Montatsky. Thank you. Forward to speaking with you again this year.